Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is EAHamm, and I offer writing tips and encouragement to writers and aspiring authors, as well as I talk a little bit about grief and my journey through that, and in hopes that I'll be able to help you. And if that sounds like something that you're interested in, go ahead and click subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. Today I am standing in my dad's office. I film most of my videos in this office, and honestly, it's become a place where I love to come and write, to come and think, and honestly I feel like I'm near him because my dad was a man who was constantly learning, constantly studying, reading new things, and writing. Even though he didn't write poetry like I did, he was always writing down things that he had learned, self-help, and constantly trying to improve, his life, as we all should be doing. And it's May the 6th as I'm filming this, the day before the 3-year anniversary, or the time that he had passed away in this very office. Not to be morbid or anything, but that time 3 years ago, I couldn't even pass this office, let alone come into it, because my mind couldn't wrap around the fact that he had passed away and so suddenly. And looking back, there were signs that led up to this, but during that time, it just didn't seem that death would be the ultimate end game for my dad. So when it happened, it was such a shock and such a trauma to my entire family that we all went through it very differently. But I have to say, I probably grieve the loudest, meaning I like to talk about it more because to be silent about it, I felt like I would suffocate. And I was met with some people who didn't understand. It made them feel uneasy. They didn't want to listen. I try to talk to them. The people I thought I could lean on, not all of them were there. And during that time, I realized that grief is something that not too many people talk about, honestly. We just try to cover it up the best we can, slap a band-aid on it, and go about living our lives. And although it's true that you should keep living your life, keep following your schedule, to not talk about it and to not process it is only prolonging your grief, meaning there will come a time when your mind will catch up and say, you're not going any further. You have to deal with this now. And you'll either end up with a nervous breakdown, some kind of sickness or disease. In some cases, people have wanted to take their lives. There's just so many things. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a licensed therapist, but I am here to say I have been through this. So standing here in this office, now I don't know, it's not as painful as it was then, because, I don't know, time has passed, and time has a way of kind of numbing us, meaning we still remember, but the pain isn't as bad. But it's still hard sometimes, especially this time of year when, like the smell of grass. He was cutting his grass that day before he passed away, and we figured that out by the shed being open. Some eyewitnesses, neighbors had seen him mowing. So the smell of grass makes my stomach clench, and that used to be my favorite smell, but that just reminds me, when it gets just warm enough but not too cold, that reminds me. When I hear the birds chirping, I'm reminded. Certain songs that come on the radio just make me instantly burst into tears. There's just so many factors that remind me of that. But honestly, I just wanted to jump on here and put out there that I get it. I understand. And if you have had any loss, whether it be someone near and dear to you that you loved, they passed away, or even the loss of a spouse, meaning they didn't pass away, but like divorce is the same thing as a loss. Someone that I know told me that they grieved the loss of their marriage, the death of their marriage, or you can grieve many things in your life. And I'm here to say that grief is a journey, it's a process, and you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with crying. There is nothing wrong with remembering. You grieve the way you feel that you should grieve. And some people, it's very hard to talk about. Like I said, there were some people in my family, they didn't want to talk about it. It was hard to talk to them. They don't want to sit there and hash it out. Whereas I was louder per se because I wanted to talk about it. And just like I wanted to talk about it, there were also times where it was just so heavy and such a hard thing for me to do that I couldn't talk about it. And that's where writing came into place. And no, I didn't write for other people. I just scribbled incessantly into a journal, and half of it didn't make sense and some of it did. But now, 3 years later, I was able to go back into that journal and pull out things and write poetry, which I'm going to be releasing into my collection, Colors of My Heart. So those of you who are artists, who like to write, and you're going through the grieving process, know that even if you don't wish to write for others right now, it's okay. It's okay to take care of yourself and just journal the best you can. And even if you can write 2 or 3 words, that's fine. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. But I do feel that if you try to push it down and pretend it's not there, it will surface eventually. So the whole purpose of this mini series I'm doing this month is to reach out and to talk to you about my own journey, as well as the journey that led me into writing again, thinking I had lost my voice when I really didn't. And I know it sounds like I'm probably rambling, and I'm going to end for now. But if this is something that you like, go ahead and click subscribe to my channel. If you like this content, give it a big old thumbs up. And I want to ask you, what is it that you're grieving today? Is it a relationship? Is it a death of someone that you love? Are you grieving the death of a career? Any of those things, go ahead and put that in the comments below, and maybe I could talk to you about it. Honestly, the whole purpose of my channel in general is to reach out and to share my story so that I can help you and yours. And until next time, bye-bye.